that starter charge beam is only going to do 30% damage. So that means that if a runner is not, really comfortable with, running against some of these bosses with that amount of damage, they're going to want to supplement by either finding the real charge beam or some miners to supplement. Secondly, the gravity suit now actually does 50% heat reduction damage, or heat reduction to heat damage. In the past, the gravity suit did no reduction to heat. So what this means is that technically, if we had a seed where there were a ton of E-tanks and Varia was maybe in a a hidden location somewhere deep in Meridia, people could actually opt to hell run in Lower Norfair if they had the requisite items with the gravity suit, because it's a little bit more manageable. And then we also opened up a few of the locations to be accessible to a few other items. The Spazer Beam, which used to have almost no use whatsoever, now will actually open up the waterway location, as well as Batoon Hallway. So you technically can complete a run even without getting ice or speed. But the flip side of that is that if you do it that way, you have to use more of your ammo on the Zebs, because you won't be able to do a Zeb skip in Torian. So it's kind of a give or take. And then last, we've got regular bombs. Bombs will now open up the waterway E-tank, not waterway, the wreck ship reserve location. So technically, if a good item is locked at wreck ship reserve, you now have two options to get that item instead of just the speed booster alone. So this is Major Minor, and again, it uses the item placement logic that Total created for our 2017 tournament. So this should be, pretty familiar for most people if they've watched other Major Minor randomizers. So anyway, that's what we're dealing with here. I'm really curious to see how the runners are going to manage. This is a new randomizer that just released, and or I guess a new version of it. And so, nobody's really practiced it a ton, and I'm curious to see how they do.
Yeah, and so we've seen a reserve tank as the very first item. Kip, did you plan that? They have to pick that up no matter what, because the item in the ceiling, that Morpho, won't be available unless you pick up the reserve tank. Also, we got power bombs and super missiles as well. So we see that Azder's going to go check those super missiles. He might actually do, at least I think that's Azder's, as we haven't gotten to the view yet. The full view yet, so I'm gonna guess that is, because I believe it switches. There we go.
There we go.
There we go. No, it wasn't. It's who's going? Oh, it's Toasty's going meme route as Azder is heading towards the climb.
But yeah, to answer your question, I did not plan that out. I'm not a fan of reserve tanks myself, so I would not put that on anybody else. But one thing I will point out, it's pretty interesting. Those people that went and decided to check, looks like it was only Toasty. No, it was Toasty and Zeb, actually. Oh, and yeah, that was only the two of them. They checked that location behind Morphing Ball, and it ended up being a super, which is kind of a big deal because we lowered the amount of supers in this randomizer. And so getting a few extra packs early is actually kind of a big deal because there's not as many of them littered throughout Zebus.
And Toasty finding another super missile. And let's see, BT having a spring ball. Everybody's favorite item.
Oh, we got spring ball early? Heck yeah.
Got an early spring ball. Let's go.
That's pretty exciting. Real quick, I'm going to, throughout this race, occasionally drop a link into the chat. If you guys want to test out the Dash Randomizer, which is still in development, but we do have a program we've created for you to basically download seeds directly onto your computer. It's just a computer program. So I'm going to put that in chat here in just a moment, and then I'll do it a few other times throughout. But feel free to go check it out. There's also some information on the site about an upcoming tournament, and also kind of gives you a breakdown of what we changed. But holy cow, we've got Azder found the Spazer Beam at Terminator, which again, I did not plan, but that does allow them now to have access to the waterway location early in the game. And you know what that means? It means that Toasty won't be able to go down there because he's doing meme route.
He got an ice beam, which is always a nice find to have, but yeah, it's not going to help him with those blocks. So let's see if any of these guys remember that this is change for those phaser beam to open those blocks.
Yeah, Toasty's got an interesting color palette swap here going on. It looks like Zeb, or excuse me, I think Azder is using not a Full palette swap for the whole game. I think this is a custom suit.
Yeah, yeah, I think I've seen this one before. It's got some really cool effects when you do shine sparks and stuff, especially as you get the Varian gravity suit. So that'll be fun to see. Zeb taking a save at the ship. I wonder if he's going to check Gauntlet.
I would assume that he probably is with his 10 power bombs. So Toast, real quick, look where Toasty is. He's going down to check this major location. But basically, in the Chozo randomizer that we've done in the league for the last couple weeks, this would not be a major. Oh my God, it's another reserve tank, dude.
Is
This
that 3
seed
reserves?
has popped out 3 reserves near the beginning of the game. That's unbelievable. But yeah, Toasty did not have the spacer beam when he checked the charge location. The rest of these players will, and so they will have the ability, if they remember to actually check and see. So it's going to be huge if that ends up being a big item. But hopefully, it won't hurt Toasty too bad.
Yeah, we in the SRL, I think in reaction to all the reserve tanks, we have a Y from Rossu, a LOL from 64-bit Link, who's also running in the background, a heck from Plumps, also running in the back room, and then a capital letters Y from Rossu. So definitely
Excellent.
not real thrilled. Or not real thrilled that they're getting all these reserve tanks.
Well, Zeb just actually found the original charge beam. So Zeb's charge damage from now on will upgrade to 100% damage, but everybody else still has a charge beam. They have the starter charge beam that does 30% damage. So if they don't go check Waterway, or excuse me, if they don't go check Gauntlet, they will end up essentially still being able to kill Mother Brain and Ridley, but it would probably be slower. So I'm interested to see how that plays out over the course of the run.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I didn't see if Azure fell down or if he just decided he wanted to check this miner, but yeah, he ended up might as well get the miner if he fell down. So
Yeah, I think he fell, but that's okay. He got another minor item out of it. Probably not what he wanted
yeah,
to do, but it'll be okay.
yeah, and Zeb remembering to check the Terminator item, that would be a definite feels bad if he has plasma coming to the end of the game and runs into that spacer.
It will. So we're gonna find out soon. If we look at Rossu's screen, I think he's probably gonna be the first one to check the waterway location if he remembers to. I will admit, some of these runners might actually forget that they can do some of this stuff because it's a brand new way to play.
Yep.
In fact, some of these players, it might be their first one, but hopefully he'll remember and we'll go down there and we'll see what's down there.
Okay, looks like Azure's actually heading down there first, having not checked the wave gate yet. Let's see if he lays a power bomb.
I hope Azure did not forget that this is not Chozo, because
Nope. Oh
I think he
no,
forgot,
Azure, no.
or maybe he just
Dang.
doesn't want to check it. He might decide it's a tactical decision,
Yeah,
but
it could
I
be.
think Rasu probably will.
Actually, I'm a little surprised with Azure because I know he was practicing some of these last night.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. Rasu with the extra power bomb drop. Rasu's gonna do the thing.
Yeah. So everybody, real quick, look at Rasu in the top right. We coded these changes in to allow Spazer to open up this location. So he's just going to shoot, and it's actually going to break the blocks that otherwise would never be able to be broken except for by speed boosters. So this
He's
is
gonna have
not
to be a
part.
little careful though. He's gonna get these enemies down here. These are Meridian enemies. They're doing a lot of damage here.
That's
Yeah,
true, but
good call laying a power bomb.
he's doing something that's not officially part of the logic. Like the game does not intend for Spazer to be a way to progress. So it's just a way that you can technically kind of bypass some of the potential options for completion. So, but it ended up being just an energy tank, but that still could be nice. I mean, having an energy tank early in the run is never a bad thing.
Yeah, especially since all we've seen so far is just those reserve tanks.
The runners don't really have a great way to get to wreck ship other than spring ball. So we'll see if they choose to to go up there to do that right now. But I think a lot of them will probably head down first. Looks like Asher's going to head down.
Yeah, looks like he was thinking about going up and then changed his mind.
I don't blame him. I think in his position, personally, I would probably do the same thing. It's not that I'm completely uncomfortable with doing a minimal wreck ship, but it's not really something that
It's not ideal.
you're hoping to do. Yeah.
And Toasty, having meme routed, is going to go check the gauntlet item, so he'll get that charge beam as well. And it looks like Rossu is going to go up, so we will get to see some. Like to see the route diversion. We'll get to see a little bit of different stuff.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool play. We'll see what happens. Asher's going to head over to Kraid, and in the major minor split, assuming that you go to Kraid's lair and then you kill Kraid, you're going to end up with 2 majors because the various suit location is the first one behind Kraid, and then once you kill Kraid, that energy tank room opens up, which 99.9% of the time you're going to check that item on the way out. So we'll see what's lurking here in this section of the game, and if he gets anything that might progress him or make him go a little bit faster.
Okay, and since some of you may have been watching the Randomizer League, this is not Boss Randomizer, so we do see Kraid at Kraid.
Yeah, that's been wild the last couple
It's been
weeks.
absolutely wild. I made some critical errors in my Boss Randomizer that we won't talk about.
That's okay. I feel like just about everybody feels that way.
Okay, Azure makes very quick work of Kraid, and let's see what's behind him. And it's an X-ray scope, and Azure, not having charge or plasma, chooses not to take it. Well, I guess he
Well,
does have charge. He does. He has
he
kind of
does
charge.
have charge. However, the interesting thing with X-ray in this dash randomizer is, you're only 2 items away from getting microwave instead of 3 because you start with a starter charge beam. However, that microwave will do a lot less damage if
Yeah.
you don't have the original, vanilla charge beam. So, but it's still usually a better way to kill a lot of the Meridia bosses anyway. But looks like we got Toasty here. Going to be getting across the moat using the spring ball jump. Just barely missed. He's going to try to back himself up into this door and then get enough momentum to bounce his way across. I'm sure he'll get it here shortly.
And just an E-tank at the Kraid E-tank.
Yeah, so nothing doing for Asher so far. Looks like he's probably going to head down and check. I'm actually kind of surprised. This is very interesting. We ended up with a seed where charge beam was at a location that could be checked but isn't always checked.
Yep.
And 3 of the 4 runners ended up getting it. So this is kind of cool. We'll see if Astor doesn't choose to check that on his initial wreck ship run, whenever that happens, then I would assume we probably will not see him get it. And so he'll save a little bit of time, but he might end up losing it back because he won't have as much damage on his charge beam.
Yeah, it's an interesting question because at the end of the game, he could choose to check it depending on his situation. It's especially if he end up if the runners end up with, say, space jump and screw attack, or getting through gauntlet is very, very quick and wouldn't lose that much time. So it'll be interesting to see if he makes that decision later on.
What did Asher get at the was it another E-tank at the high jump boot location?
Yeah, it must have been because he's got full energy now and a 4th tank. So, and to the question about hell runs, absolutely, hell runs can be in logic. Hell runs were very common in the tournament back in 2017 with the total logic. So I would not be surprised to see a hell run here. Could also see Suitless Meridia, and an old favorite might, or favorite depending on your perspective, might reappear, as we do have the possibility of that gravity suit being at the sand pit. So
We do. Or even worse, in my opinion, it could be that various suit is at the sand pits and then gravity is in lower Norfair.
yeah, that could happen.
Nice spring ball usage by Astra there. Toasty did get across the moat and is heading down to kill Fantoon, so he'll be our first runner to actually scope out the wrecked ship items. And if he ends up finding a really important item in here, this could be big for him, being the first person there. Astra only finding another E-tank, so he now has 2 choices. He can take what he has, which is still a minimal amount of major items, actually, and he can just decide to go ahead and head up to go to wrecked ship, or he can hell run over to Bubble Mountain and check 3 more locations, but it will be a little bit slower because of the need to farm. So we'll see what he chooses to do here.
missing the mock ball out, but fortunately has power bombs, so no problem. Yeah, I'm hoping to see at least one of Azure and Zeb do the hell runs, since we're seeing the wreck ship from our runners on the right here, Rossu and Toasty.
Well, here we go. Here's Hell Run number
There it
1
is.
by Asher. And in the meantime, Rasu got over the moat. Well done. And Toasty getting ready for his Fantoon fight. Man, Fantoon looks like Slimer in this in this
Okay,
particular
I will
seed,
have.
or not
This is
seed, but
not
skin.
the suit that I'm used to seeing Azure. Look at the way it's glowing as he's doing these hell runs. That actually is pretty darn cool.
Ooh, Asher made a pretty big mistake there. The last thing you want to hit during these hell runs are those, I don't know what you call them, but they're the little guys at the beginning of the Rising
Mm,
Tide room that jump straight up and down out of the lava.
the
They do
fire
more
bats.
damage than
I don't
anybody.
know if that's their official name, but that's often what I hear them called.
He should be fine now, though. Around 100 health plus his reserve should be plenty for him to get into
Oh yeah, absolutely.
the location. Got a little ecto cooler action over here
Yeah.
on on Toasty's
Between
screen.
some of the colors on Azure's and on Toasty's screen, we definitely have some interesting things to look at here. Pretty cool. Oh, that ice beam. That's an yeah. It's not yeah. Ice beam doing weird color things there too. Nice way of getting over there. And we are seeing a lot of these super missiles. Little surprised that Azure's doing this first. He doesn't really have with with this low energy count. Oh, he's
You
just gonna get the one item. Okay, that makes
You
sense.
know what, Al? I think you might be right because you would know better than me, but I do notice that Samus's suit looks different than
Yeah.
normal, especially in ball form. So that might actually be from nature. That's a good call.
Yeah, I believe the other one that I was thinking of was from a different ROM hack.
That's been one of my favorite things about the league. I really want to say thank y'all for doing that. I have really enjoyed using, getting custom palettes made and then using them in the league. I haven't used a different sprite, but I've used like different colors on Samus's suits, and it's been fun to design those. Okay, let me talk real quick about one design element um, of this randomizer that we haven't kind of talked about yet. We did change the minor distribution, and part of the reason was because supers are a little bit too powerful, and in a lot of randomizers, you end up with like 3 times more supers than you would ever find in like the original game. Maybe not 3 times, but close. And so one thing we did is we lowered the amount of supers, but we raised the amount of power bombs because we wanted crystal flashing to be a little bit more in play. There were a lot of seeds in the past where you just almost never even found enough power bombs to do it. So we've actually raised that up in particular for if you, oh, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, look at Asher's screen.
Okay, this is
Notice his
awesome.
heat damage is going down significantly less this time because the gravity suit now does 50% heat reduction or provides 50% reduction to heat damage. And so now you can technically, especially with extra power bombs, have way more options for potential lower Norfair hell running. It's not in the logic. You're not required to do that, but it is a way for a more advanced player to potentially, maybe get some edge, but also take a little bit more risk.
Okay, Toasty gonna check the Wreckship E-Tank item. Rasu trying to get over there with power bomb jump and finds bombs. Oh yeah, do you want to talk about those bombs? What they do for us?
Oh, you know what? This is really neat because the bomb is going to be an item that allows you to check their wreck ship reserve location. In the past, the only item that let you do that was the speed booster. And so Toasty actually came over here without any ability to check at all, but kind of lucked out here and got the bomb at this exact location. So now he can go up to the wreck ship reserve location and actually check that item even without speed booster.
Yeah, Rasu also picking up those bombs. So we got yeah. So I really like this. We do have one side of our runners. We're doing the wreck ship. We got the other side doing hell runs. And we got to demonstrate a couple of different things in this new randomizer. As you're finding screw attack over at the wave beam area. Interesting. Okay, So what are we gonna do, Asher? We're gonna because he still hasn't checked that wreck ship. That Norfair reserve item.
Yes, he hasn't. He might just like did he if he saved his game, he I was gonna say he could just check it, like run over there real fast and check it, and then if it's not anything good, he could just reset, like he
Yeah.
can at
Well,
least look and see what it is.
yeah, we've already seen him do a crystal flash there in running up into the speed rooster area. I suspect we're gonna see that again. A whole lot in his reserves though, so and it's wave
Oh, it's
beam.
wave beam.
That's a nice item to find. Especially right before the next check might be Crocomire, and not having to do a gate glitch in heat is always a nice thing.
Okay, that wreck ship reserve location ended up being only an energy tank. One thing I do want to point out, because I know people would probably assume, we have not really changed the logic in terms of how it places items or anything like that. So just because we made changes to the way some of the items interact with the environment does not mean that we skewed the numbers towards more items, being in those locations. We basically just wanted to open up the game a little bit more without adjusting, how the game actually works in terms of the item placement. So just because we allow bombs, for example, to get into that location doesn't mean you're any more likely right now to find a better item than you used to would have been. So we'll have to see what's at gravity now.
Okay. It looks like Azure not going to bid on Croc. Is going to do the new speedless speedway tech to get back to the beginning of Norfair. So I suspect he'll head up to the wreck ship while we watch Rossu and Toasty go through their little breaks as the bowling chorizo brings them down.
Come on, Toasty. Big money, no whammies. Let's go.
And just an E-tank. Although Azure, he may just be going over to Meridia with that gravity suit, so.
Well, even though nothing of major consequence was found in the wreck ship, they do at least have that information. So they
Yep.
know now that they, like for example, we still haven't nobody's found Varia. Varia could potentially be in Crocomire, it could be in Meridia, but at least they know. So no matter where they are, like let's say in theory, if Varia was at Crocomire, they would know to go straight there when they didn't find it, as opposed to everybody else who might decide to skip Crocomire for now.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. We'll see if Zeb goes to Croc. So it's got to be either a Croc or in Meridia somewhere. And if it's in Meridia, that's really good for Azure. If it's in at Croc, it's probably better for other people. Oh, baby,
Ooh,
my
take a look
favorite
at
item, the
that.
space jump.
Put it in the chat.
Absolutely. That means I get to do this. And this is not an easy with this item set. This is not an easy thing to get, but he does do a nice spring wall jump to get it. Real happy he did that. Decides to check the minor item as well. Power bomb pack, decides not to pick it up. Meanwhile, Zeb leaving the wave beam area. Let's see if he goes over to Crocomire or if he follows Azure to Meridia with his gravity suit.
Space jump, that was a good time for Asher to find that, because space jump, if you don't like, speed booster makes Meridia so much easier and faster, but if you don't have it, space jump is a great alternative. It
Absolutely.
lets you not have to do a bunch of gravity jumps and whatnot. So that came in a nice time.
Yeah, and space jump in water is much better. Just the reaction of it is just so much better in water than it is in normal air.
For sure. It looks like Zeb is getting queued up here to go check the Crocomire location. Asher
Excellent.
getting ready to fight Batwoon. Even though Asher has not found Charge Beam, he cannot soft lock here, because even if he somehow missed a bunch of shots and ran out of ammo, he'd still be able to use his starter Charge Beam to damage Batwoon.
Oh yeah,
However,
and we
it would
glossed
take a
right
while.
over that. We glossed right over that. I believe he used the spacer to get through instead of the ice beam, which was one of the intents.
Oh, baby.
Completely missed it.
High jump boots. I'm sorry, what did you say?
Yeah, so I believe Azure used that spazer to get through those speed booster blocks. I remember since spazer now can be used for in that location and in the waterway location, so you didn't have to ice clip, which is what you would normally have to do with this item set.
Exactly, and even though he had the ability to do the ice clip, since he does have ice beam, he still saved some time, a couple seconds by using that spazer beam. So definitely cool. I'm glad that that got featured in this race.
Yep,
Looks
and Zeb.
like Toasty's gonna have a Crade stand up here.
Ooh. Zeb finding plasma beam behind Crocomire, certainly a very nice item. So we'll see if Croc holding at least one good. We'll see if he has another one as well.
By the way, Zeb has, unless I'm mistaken, he has plasma, wave, X-ray, and vanilla charge.
Yep.
So his microwave abilities when he gets to Meridia are going to be very strong.
Yes, they are. And there's another super missile. You sure you changed that super missile ratio? Because we're seeing a lot of them in this scene.
We are, but honestly, that's a good example of what I'm going for, which is, I don't want there to be a ton of them every time, but
Yeah.
when it does work out that way, that makes it different. So,
Yep.
yeah, you get to decide how much effort you want to put in to try to find them, and sometimes they're there for you.
Okay, without speed booster, Zev's best way to get to grapple beam is to do this gate glitch here to get to the grapple item in reverse.
There we go. And Asher's going to have a really interesting fight. He does not have grapple, he does not have speed booster, and he doesn't have the X-ray and plasma beam, so he's going to have to use ammo to kill Dragon. I know he can do it, no problem. It's just going to take a little while. Asher's very experienced with low percent ice,
Yep.
so I'm not worried about his ability to kill Dragon here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I like that's what he did there is he laid a power bomb in order to get rid of all the goo, so that he can just get under Dragon and fire a whole bunch of super missile shots and finish her off that way.
All right, hold on. A couple big things. First of all, look at the right side of the screen. Look at the sync between Rossu and Toasty.
Oh God, yeah.
Secondly, looks like Crocomire had all the goods this time. Plasma beam at the energy
Ooh.
tank location, and then Barrier suit at the grapple location.
So that's really good for all of our runners except Ashter, who counted on Meridia having the goods. And we'll see if because he might full clear Meridia and or wreck ship before he gets back down to Crocomire.
Well, the cool thing about it, here's where, I promise you, I did not design this seed. For real, I did not design this seed to work out this way, but this is a good indication of part of the change that we've made. Right now, Azure has enough energy tanks
Yes.
and space jump and
Yep.
screw attack to where he could say, you know what? If Varia is deep in Meridia or at Crocomire, instead of going to those locations, I'm going to go to Lower Norfair and Hell Run with the new changes to the gravity suit, only doing half damage.
Yep.
And he could probably get through it, with a good crystal flash in there somewhere. But it's a risk reward thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, do you want to risk doing something without items, or do you want to spend time trying to make other portions faster? So I like, not to float my own boat here, but I like what we're seeing here because it's an example of the choice that you now have that you would have never had in the past.
Yeah, and it looks like he's gonna check plasma first. Yeah, Varia is unchanged to answer the question in chat in this or unchanged from the randomizer setup.
This is probably going to be an E-Tank, but just to make things interesting, I hope it's a speed booster.
Yeah, there's not much left to find. I mean, I think speed is the only thing left, and it's just an E-Tank. And at this point for Toasty and Rossu, with all those E-Tanks that they picked up on the wreck ship, these hell runs are not that difficult.
Also, one thing that I kind of failed to mention is in the old sort of major minor split, I think most people would agree with this. You end up a lot of times finding like tons and tons of energy tanks, right?
Yep.
And a lot of times after a certain point, especially for a more experienced player, those energy tanks don't really have any value. But in this, you can parlay those extra energy tanks into a gravity hell run. So they actually become somewhat useful if you have the right item set. So there's a lot at play here. and I'm glad we're getting to see a little bit of it come to fruition.
Okay, so as you're leaving Meridia, did not check the sandpit, did not check Shack Tool. So let's see where he goes next. Is he going to go up to the wrecked ship? Is he going to go down to Croc? Or is he going to go down to Lower Norfair, as you suggest? I'm going
I
to
don't know.
guess.
We'll see.
I think he's going to head up to the wrecked ship. There's no other reason to do this gate glitch here. Which is a little unfortunate because he's not going to find anything there. Oh, wait, maybe not. Nope, he is.
I think he's heading
Or
to
maybe
X-ray.
oh, X-ray, that's a really good point. Or maybe not. Maybe he doesn't know what he's doing. Okay, oh, okay, I see what he's doing. He's gonna save here. If he's gonna make that extra check, that way if the extra check is nothing, he just resets back to this spot.
I'm curious. I've never seen someone save there, really. So, is he going to? If it's not at X-ray, is he just gonna reset and then go and hell run Lower Norfair? Because I can't think of another reason you would want to reset to that location.
Yeah, I would think if he's going to X-ray, yeah, he's gonna reset to that location. The question is, what will he do from there? But it tells me he's not gonna go to the wreck ship. It tells me he's either gonna go to Croc or to Lower Norfair.
Zeb, meanwhile, is having a real nice run. He is, heading down to fight Ridley, and he's technically in go mode. I mean,
Oh yeah,
he doesn't
absolutely.
have to collect anything else. Toasty and Rossu currently collecting all the Bubble Mountain things. Looks like Toasty's getting ready to head to Croc. He's going to be really happy when he sees the plasma beam and the various suit. Looks like azder has reset.
He has reset.
I hope he goes for it. I think that'd
I
be
hope so
awesome.
too. I mean, he is an experienced RBO runner, so this is something that he's more than capable of doing. Toasty gonna bet on Croc and gonna be rewarded well for it.
Dude, we got another Slimer down here. Good grief, everything's lime green. I will go ahead and tell y'all this too. If you ever want to see that, we actually had a dash race at DreamHack Atlanta last weekend between Rasu here and Zost. None other than Zost himself, with me on commentary explaining it. Which you guys can find that. I think at like No Reset Speedrun is the channel. I'm sure there's a VOD for it. So if you're interested in finding out more about Dash, we've got that web page with some tutorial kind of informational videos that I put together. And we'd love to have you drop some feedback to us. So check it
Okay,
out and let us
so
know.
notice that Azra's picking up ammo that's kind of in out of the way places. That tells me he is gonna go for it. So I'm really excited to see how this works out for him.
Dude, I'm pumped. I love. First of all, Asher was the type of player who would hell run anyway, with
Yep,
even before we changed the
yep,
suit.
he
So
would.
now that we actually have given him a little bit more ways to do it, I'm really curious to see how it goes. He needs to farm up some soups, though. I think it'd be in his best interest to farm up some
Yeah, I
critters
think he
here.
just figured that out. So, there is a farm room towards the direction that he was heading, but I personally hate that farm room because if you're not careful, you can end up killing everything in a place where you actually can't pick up the drops.
Yes,
So I like that he's coming back to this one instead.
that's before I started skipping that farm, on my grind towards a 50 low ice. I can't tell you how many times I've accidentally done that in my preparation for Lower Norfair. So, very annoying.
Oh wait, no, I think Azur's deciding to do Croc, or
No, I
let's
think he's gonna go
see.
right.
Which way is he going?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's gonna do the
Oh,
refill
he's
and
gonna
then,
do the refill. He's got
space jump
yeah.
across.
With space jump, this actually works out really well.
So again, this is really cool. I don't, you can't ever tell if it's going to end up being the right play or not, but this would be something that in the past and currently with every other randomizer I'm aware of, this move would basically be impossible. So to go to Lower Norfair with this amount of tanks is pretty much only feasible because we made those changes to Gravity Suit. So, ladies and gentlemen, you are getting to see some brand new play style right here. This is going to be a lot of fun to watch Aster try to do this.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this: the absolute top RBO players will have like 6 or 7 E tanks at this point, so it is still doable. But oh my God, you got to have the difference in RBO and randomizer in particular. In RBO, you know exactly where all the E tanks are. You know you're gonna hit that refill at GT. In randomizer, you don't know for sure that you're gonna have those E tanks available to you. So you're definitely taking more of a risk in that situation. Although with all the items we've seen, we've only not seen speed booster, so pretty much the major items are going to be E tanks.
Yeah, the cool part is when we were talking about game balance for this mode, we talked about how we didn't want lower Norfair hell runs with gravity only to be too easy. And so, we're still trying to make sure we've got everything balanced, but I don't think he would have made this decision if he didn't have screw attack and space jump, in
No,
particular
I
screw attack.
agree.
So it's not something you would do in every context. That item,
That
grappling
is a
beam,
really good item for him in this
it
situation.
is. That's actually very useful. That's
It's trying
gonna
to,
help him before Ridley.
oh yeah, because trying to farm without grapple beam is just a pain. I mean, there's a few different ways you can do it, but grapple beam just makes that farm so much easier.
Yeah, LJ in the chat making a great point. If Asher finishes Ridley and then refuses to go to Crocomire, which why would you go to Crocomire if you've already done Lower Norfair and you don't, need
Yeah,
the
no, no
various
reason
suit?
to.
He's going to have to have at least 6 energy tanks to survive the Rainbow Beam. So, but he does have that already, so he should be in good shape when that time comes.
Absolutely. Well, and he's, he could choose to, if he gets that charge beam. Well, he's not gonna get plasma beam, so probably not gonna do stand up push. But if that were a possibility, then a lot of times you're just gonna take that very suit off anyway.
Now would be a good time. I just saw the Speed Gaming bot mention Speed Game SG Live in 2020. I actually went. Zeb as well was there, but I went to SG Live 2019 a few weeks ago and actually won both of the Super Metroid tournaments, which was a lot of fun. But the main thing I'm excited about is we set up for there to be at least a minor Super Metroid tournament there next year. That will be a randomizer. So I went ahead and donated some money to get that on the list, and we're going to have some
Excellent.
fundraisers for it, leading up to it. And we might actually have the Dash randomizer be part of it as part of the logic. So we'll see what happens. I also have a speed gaming Dash tournament coming up soon that I'll be releasing some information on, and anybody's welcome to join. There will also be some cash prizes for that. So we really want to get as many people as possible playing this and just checking it out and get some feedback. So
Yeah.
check it
And
out.
really excited that you're going to get that Super Metroid randomizer tournament going in no matter what logic is used. That's going to happen at the next SG Live. I actually plan on going out of my way to make sure I make it this year because I really regretted not getting there. I should say next year. I really regret not making it this year.
Yeah, it was a great event. I cannot say enough nice things about Feasel and Clifford, who is streaming our race tonight,
Restreaming. Yeah.
and you're restreaming it, and Miss Metroid and several other people from the Speed Gaming crew were incredibly awesome and did a great job of running that event. So it was cool.
Yeah, absolutely. This Speed Gaming crew, just in general, does such a nice job for all these events. Just you just thank them so much for for letting us showcase our league in general, both with the weeklies that will be continuing, and with some of our league races. And actually, I should mention we have playoffs coming up really soon, and those are all going to be on the Speed Gaming Family Network. So real excited about that. We will continue to have weeklies. We will only be doing the 1 o'clock race starting next weekend, but definitely glad we're going to get a whole lot of Super Metroid Randomizer consistently on the Speed Gaming channels.
How mad would you be at me, Tracy, if I did a humble brag right now?
Oh, go for it.
I'm definitely looking forward to the playoffs. Being on Speed Gaming, it's going to be fun. Technically, I'm the #1 seed for the league this year, going into the playoffs. So I went undefeated in the regular season, but I can assure you, I'm going to get my tail kicked at least a little bit.
Yeah, there's some
So
really good players that don't have the number. Yeah, we said there's some really good players that are going to be doing a play-in, and so we're gonna have some interesting matchups coming up in the playoffs pretty darn soon.
yeah, it'll be great. I'm really looking forward to it. Tons of great rando players throughout our community, and we're always looking for other people to come and hang out and do some stuff with us. So feel free to join the Discord if you haven't. And for anybody who came in late, this is the Dash randomizer, a new randomizer we've been working on, and the gravity suit provides 50% reduction to the heat damage. That's why you see Azure going for this hell run.
Okay, now we have that. So So let's see. Zeb has already beaten Ridley. I did not see what he got behind Ridley, but I bet it's going to be an E-Tank. I mean, it almost has to be. I guess there's one reserve left. We saw 3 very, very early. Could also be Speed Booster, but I think Zeb would have picked that up, so I'm going to guess that it's not. Oh, it's a reserve tank I'm hearing from chat. Oh, that sucks for azder. I mean, he should be fine if he gets some good drops here with those super missiles.
I think he'll still be fine, yeah. And plus, he can farm on his way out. Yeah,
Yes,
if you can,
yeah, he
if
can.
you can see, his health is going down, pretty low, so he'll be cool. Great fight.
Not great drops though. And there it is. There's that reserve tank, just trolling him. Man,
If you
can you think of a worse set of reserve tank locations than a
That is
randomizer?
exactly what I was just about to ask. This is like the worst possible for azder. He's got, he ran into 3 early, and then the only one left is in the only spot that he would definitely want an E-Tank in this particular context. So this is not to get too deep on this, but this is partially why I'm so fascinated by what we're trying to work on here. azder is losing time farming that the other runners will not have to do before Ridley. But he's going to get some of that back, a significant portion of that back, due to the fact that he's not going to go to Ranomizer. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So there's a lot at play here, and there's a lot of pluses and minuses depending on the choices you make.
Yeah, absolutely. And azder being able to go mode wreck ship is going to be really nice for him too. Zeb also going to be able to go mode wreck ship. But you think on Rossu and Toasty's side, those two both went to full clear wreck ship and did Ranomizer. So that's a lot of time that azder's not going to be wasting in those locations.
That's right, and he farmed up enough to do another Crystal Flash, which assuming he doesn't accidentally run into a Key Hunter, he might actually, even with his, if you count his reserve tank, he might actually make it out of this room without even having a Crystal Flash.
Yeah, that'd be really nice because if he could manage to get to the Firefly's room before he has to Crystal Flash, that'd be really good for him. But not going to do it. Okay, he's going to do it right here.
No, he needs to wait because the funny thing is since Gravity Suit blocks half that heat damage, where
Oh,
you would need to drop the power bomb is actually different.
yeah, I hadn't even thought of that. That's because usually you'll drop it at about 60, and then of course it's going down slower because you need to have less than 50 energy before you do it. So yeah,
I guarantee
I
you
hadn't
at
even
some
thought of
point
that.
somebody's going to have exactly 11 power bombs and they're going to drop the power bomb at the what would
Uh-huh.
normally be the appropriate time, and then it's not going to work. But Rossu having a very nice Ridley fight there with his full beam combination. Check this out. I like this. What Asher's doing is he decided to check that location. He wanted a super, but he was still willing to accept a missile because he knows he only has starter charge beam, and so the ammo is actually in a lot of ways worth picking up, even though he can kill Mother Brain too.
Mm-hmm.
The extra ammo, if he doesn't find the normal charge beam, which he probably won't, will actually probably be worth the time investment
You
based
know,
on the starter charge beam.
I have to disagree with you with one part of that statement. Given where that charge beam is, and given that he is looking at picking up extra ammo, I suspect he may go to Gauntlet, if nothing else, because there's gonna be 2 ammo items in the back. So we'll see. He might skip it, but it's actually I think a good timing, especially with Screw Attack and Space Jump. That combination through Gauntlet is just so quick and easy.
That's a great point. I think the screw and space jump is a pretty big deal. Otherwise, it's still a really slow check. Like once you're in sort of go mode or whatever, and you're able to go to Torian and kill, the Metroids, you don't really want to do a lot of extra
No,
checks.
no, absolutely not.
But yeah, I mean, he might do it just based on his concern about how long the Mother Brain fight would take with the starter charge beam.
Yeah, and we still haven't seen a speed booster anywhere yet, so it's probably somewhere deep in Meridia at Shack Tool or Sandpit. So
Yeah, more than likely, you're right.
I think that's the only locations we haven't seen yet. So
Yep,
also,
that's
by the
true.
way, big shout outs to our tracker Cheaty Face 4, the best tracker in the business, helping us out today.
Tracker Face 4.
So yeah, at the moment, I would say Zeb in a pretty good lead here over azder, but he's gonna he's gonna get close up. So, and Rasu and Toasty, Rasu just leaving lower Norfair, Toasty on his way out. We got some pretty close races going on here.
Yeah, there isn't really anything azder currently has in terms of items that could really help him
No,
catch
not really.
Zeb in any capacity. The only way that you could even make up some time, I would assume, would be if you had like speed booster, which he doesn't have. The
No,
space jump isn't really going to help a ton at this juncture where they are
no.
on the map. So Zeb in a clear lead here and had the ability to microwave the ghost.
Yeah, which Astra's not gonna have. No, the verse you need to ignore the verses. So that question in chat about is it the no these this is four separate racers. Unfortunately, we just have the one layout for the randomizer league, so that when because sometimes we do have actual races going on, but this is an open race, so everybody can compete. We actually have several non-league racers competing this time, which is really cool to see.
Yeah, Tracy's lying to y'all. Basically, she's just trying to tell you something so that you don't know about the drama. Toasty and Zeb
Uh
really dislike each other, and then Rossu and Asher really dislike each other.
oh. Uh
So
oh.
they wanted to do battle royale to the death here. So no, I'm just kidding. This is an open race, as she mentioned, and we got a bunch of people racing.
In fact, I think we have a total of 11 people that showed up for this one, including some names we haven't seen before, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, I'm really happy. I mean, I'm being serious here. I actually really appreciate all these people coming and doing this because um, for them to take their time to test out this thing that I've been working on with, I'm not the only person working on it. I've got several people, including Tracy here, who have helped me test it and given me some ideas. But I really appreciate all these people coming and, supporting what I'm trying to do and at least checking it out. So very cool.
Toasty now just leaving Lower Norfair. Zeb very close to getting to Turian. Uh, actually, this is where actually now I'm going to say that the interesting race now actually is the Azder versus Rasu. Although Rasu still needs to go to Dragon, so should make very quick work of considering he does have the full microwave.
Asher is going to show off the starter beam X factors, or he's trying to. I think he messed up just a little bit there. The X factor, the SBAs with starter charge beam still do full damage. So I personally, I don't X factor fan tune, but I left that in there on purpose because I kind of wanted to give a shout out to the cool people that do like the X factor fan tune,
Sure.
because you don't really get to do that very much in randomizers, and I felt like that was some cool tech that deserved a little bit more attention.
Okay, Rasu heading over to. Oh, he's gonna do the ice clip. And that makes a lot of sense. It's probably a little faster to just do the ice clip than it would be to menu over to the spacer beam. But it's kind of a shame we didn't get to see that again. As your enraging Fantoon, he's
Dude,
gonna. I'm sure.
Zeb's,
I'm sure he's like one missile short. Usually that's the case.
yeah, I would guess one, maybe two, but Zeb's rocking and rolling over here, moving very
Absolutely.
quickly. Of course, that doesn't necessarily mean he's in the lead, like overall. Don't forget, we do have other people in this race, but Zeb, of the four people being featured, is definitely in the lead.
Okay, and Azure is gonna head out, and get to Turian. Zeb done with his Metroid rooms. Toasty and Rasu, both in the Meridia area.
Unfortunately, Zeb does not have the ability here, item-wise, to do the baby skip, and I think technically you can get a baby skip with certain item sets that don't include speed and high jump, but it's just like way harder
It's
and
definitely
nobody
harder.
practices that way. So usually you're only going for that if you have high jump boots and speed boosters. So he just went ahead and damaged himself down. That's a good call. Save a little time there.
As you're still checking minor items, so yeah, I think he is gonna hit that gauntlet. If you're gonna check the ocean for some minor items, you're gonna go through gauntlet.
Yeah, probably so, especially as you pointed out with that screw space jump combination. It's going to make those rooms way faster. Toasty has the plasma beam on, so is doing the ice clip instead of
Yeah,
the
they
spacer
both
array.
he and Rasu did that. As you're going to take a refill at the ship, he's going to want that because his beam combination not going to do a whole lot of, not going to do great damage. I'd have to do some calculations to figure out how many shots he'd have in Mother Brain. That's the one bad thing is we have to figure out if we start using the starter beam. We'll have to figure out a whole bunch of new numbers for. And okay, he is not going there. Oh baby, gonna
Yeah,
go with this. Okay, I
that's
mean,
what I would have done too, but at the same time, like I also understand the other perspective of why you might choose to do it. Um, he's basically what he's thinking right now is he's banking on his ability to kill Mother Brain to be faster than it would have been to a check if
Yep.
there had been nothing good up there. So
Yep.
unfortunately, he's missing out on the charge beam, but that's okay.
I'm going to try and do some quick calculations here to figure out how many shots. We know Zeb's got 20 shots, so we're not going to worry about him. He's almost at the catch-up phase already. So let's see.
Well, in theory, he won't have to do that many because he does have 30 supers and 55 missiles.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
you know,
Get
technically
supplement.
by the time he gets there, he'll have basically half of her damage and But yeah, it'll still be a longer fight than usual, and personally, I like that. I'm excited. I kind of feel like Mother Brain is Oh no! I was literally about to say I feel like Mother Brain is a little too easy sometimes in Randomizer, but apparently her knee is too strong. What happened? I didn't
I
see
did,
what happened to him.
I did not see. I'm busy trying to do some calculations. Okay, so if I'm doing this right, it's going to take 200 shots for Azder to do this fight, which is similar to low ice. Oh, and looks like Zeb is forfeiting from the race. Probably doesn't have a recent
Oh.
save, and that's a real shame because he was doing so well.
He was, and he was gonna run roughly like right around a 55 flat or so.
Mm-hmm.
So let's keep that in mind for where everybody else finishes. But that puts Asher back in the lead,
It does indeed.
and he's definitely several minutes ahead of Rossu at the moment. But he is going to have a slower Mother Brain, and he's also going to not have the ability. He's going to be able to do stand up glitch to save like 20 extra seconds with full beam
Mm-hmm.
combination, where you know it wouldn't be worth it for Asher. I hate that for Zeb. He was having a great race,
Oh, that
but
was a wonderful run by Zeb.
yeah, but all you can say though is the same thing we always say, which is Super Metroid, man.
Yep.
Sometimes, like what happened there is something that everybody at some point has done. There's just so many ways to die in this game, and
It really
they're all
is.
going to sneak up on you eventually.
Okay, so now Azure, I'm really interested to see this Mother Brain fight now. But yeah, he's gonna turn off Screw Attack so he can get through the Zebs here.
So let's talk a little bit of strategy here, because I actually do something like in Astra's position. I actually do something different in randomizers than I think
Okay.
conventional wisdom says to do. Most people will try to save 15 supers for Mother
Mhm.
Brain, and then as soon as she gets to red beam phase, they'll unload the 15 supers.
That's what I like to do.
I actually I like unloading everything first
Mm-hmm.
because the red beam phase, like for me personally, is something I'm like super accustomed to with low percent
Sure.
runs. And so like it's actually once you get used to it, easier and she doesn't move around as much.
Mm-hmm.
So a
Yeah.
lot of times I just like to stand there and fire at
Yeah,
her.
there's a lot of merit in what you say. I actually agree in terms of dodging the catch-up beams. Certainly they do more damage, but yeah, I do agree with the dodging part. I just like that I don't have to do any math if I can wait for the last 15 shots.
No, it does make sense. Yeah, for sure. I don't necessarily think either one of them is like significantly better or faster.
Oh, and
Look
look
at
at what we're
this, dude.
seeing here. Oh my god.
This is
This
epic.
is awesome.
Dude,
I love it.
look, hold on. This might be my proudest moment in Super Metroid history because
so
everybody's been wanting to come up with some way where Spazer SBAs are actually viable, and Dash may have done it accidentally.
cool.
Dude, I am so pumped right now.
This is really cool. Okay, but yeah, he is going to be a little careful here. He is down just to 3 tanks. He does have at least 2 full reserves.
Those SBAs do, again, as I mentioned, full beam. They do full beam damage, and Mother Brain actually can take damage from. Why was he resetting? Oh, he took too much damage because he doesn't have Barrier Suit, I bet.
Oh, great. God. Okay. That's a really good point. I was there saying, oh, he's got 3 tanks. He's fine. No, he's not
Dang
fine.
it, man. We just lost a really hype moment, but that was still
man.
cool.
It was still a really, really cool moment.
In the meantime, Rossu getting ready for his fight. He is past the baby, and Toasty is on his way down to do Torian.
So let's hope nothing happens to Rossu, because so far we've had 2 runners in a clear lead have issues and having to, in one case, forfeit, in the other case, just reset.
I'm surprised that Azder didn't have enough in reserves.
I think he had 2 full reserves, not 3. I don't think he picked up a 3rd reserve.
Okay. Well, all that smack we talked about reserves, and look, they could have been useful.
I know, right? I've said it before, reserve tanks save lives. So Rossu going to have the more traditional Mother Brain fight with just the 20 charge Ice Wave plasma shots. And Toasty will have the same when he gets there. So I wonder if Azure was remembering at what point. So I didn't see him reset right away when he got down to 3, but he may have just realized, one of those things where you just forget that no, I don't have that barrier suit.
All right, do we have finally a runner? Okay, we've got somebody past the beam phase. Oh no. Okay, this should be okay. Oh my god, dude.
God, Rossu.
That's a fantastic clip, by the way. I can't wait to, I'm going to make sure I copy and paste that, spread it around my Discord.
Okay, Toasty heading towards his Mother Brain fight. Actually, Azra's not that far behind, but of course, he's going to lose time to a much longer Mother Brain fight.
This is so funny, too, because as we mentioned before, Rossu was in that race versus Zost, and
if I'm not mistaken, Rossu won that race.
He won. Yeah, I didn't want to ruin it for anybody who hadn't seen it, but Rossu actually won. No, it's okay. But he's going to finish up here, and I think he might get this under an hour. The cutscene in these randomizers is a little bit less, but no, I don't think he's quite going to get there. I think it's going to be just over an hour.
Yeah, this had to be pretty darn fast escape if he's going to get here in less than, he'd have to do it in like 1:05, so that'd be a really fast escape.
In the meantime, Toasty firing purple stuff at Mother Brain.
Yep.
We got more Ecto Cooler going on with Mother Brain here.
Can't say I love the green, but I do love the purple.
Oh, Rossu. See, this is where you get nervous. Nobody has done yet in this race. And Rossi's on his way, but you just never know who might sneak one in because we can't see anybody else's stream at the moment. Oh, Toasty! What is going on, man?
Wow. I don't think I've ever seen 3 runners die to Mother Brain all in the same race.
Holy moly.
Oh, and Toasty's last ship is way back at the wreck ship. That hurts. I think he's contemplating whether he wants to finish or not. I can't say I blame him if he doesn't. That's a long way back. And as you're going to break out those golden showers again, you just have to be a little more careful this time, I hope. Because he does need to keep that number of E-tanks above 6.
Well, Rossu has finished in first place with an official SRL time of 1 hour and 28 seconds. So Rossu remains undefeated in all races featuring Dash.
Hey,
He's the Dash
he
champion.
sure is.
I don't understand what happened to Toasty. I'm going to have to go back and look. I didn't see what happened.
We have not seen an official forfeit from Toasty, but that may just be. And here we have Zeb. GG for playing. It was a really great run until
yeah,
until the end.
I'm not sure what happened there. I've never done that before, so. And I was watching on the restream. Rossu also did it. Does Mother Brain's body normally do 60 damage? I thought it only did 30.
It depends. That thing has happened to me and several other people before. That sometimes that even costs people like in a normal speed run. So it's not like really your fault. It's just sometimes the way you kind of move into her, the iframes can reset faster or something. So
yeah,
it really sucks. But that was a good run, man.
Yeah, I was feeling really good about that. That was going to be like a 55 or so. So
yeah, you had a sick run, Zeb.
Yeah. Oh my god, it was so nice.
Also, Zeb, while you're here, I just want to remind you before we talk about this in front of the chat, I paid you money to come and do the race tonight and to say nice things. So what do you keep with that in mind? What do you think about the Dash randomizer? He's checking his wallet to make sure he got that 20. Oh, azder takes another death here.
Yeah, this time he's forfeiting. So Rossu has to feel to be the only one to finish.
What happened?
azder took 1 2. This time I saw exactly what happened. He was trying to damage himself down. He took 1 too many hits to Mother Brain, and yeah, he didn't have various suit.
Oh, Rossi, before you answer, I do want to point out real quick, Aussie just finished in second place with a time of 1 hour, 2 minutes, and 50 seconds. So GG to him. But yeah, Rossu and Zeb, give us some thoughts on what you thought about the race and the randomizer.
Well, I don't know. I was really thinking about going into Norfair with just gravity. But I wanted like one more movement item after I found the screw attack before I was really willing to commit. Plasma helped a lot, but I was hoping for like a space jump, a high jump, something like that. And then I found Varia at Croc, and I was like, well, I guess that point's moot. So.
And speed at Spring Ball, so.
Yeah, that Croc was stacked, especially Rossu and Zeb. Both of y'all had the vanilla charge beam, which obviously makes finding Plasma even better. But Plasma and Varia at Crocomire was pretty crazy.
Waterway with the Spazer beam, and I realized it while I was in Bubble Mountain. I was like, ah, crap.
I want to say Rossu was the only one that actually did that. Now, Toasty went meme route, so he couldn't.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it ended up being an energy tank.
So yeah, you didn't miss anything. Well, I mean, not a lot.
It's so dangerous
for the hull runs.
Check waterway without health.
Yeah, I noticed that. So I liked your use of the power bomb there too, because yeah, those are Meridia enemies, and Meridia enemies hit hard.
Yeah, the fish is pretty tanky too, so it survived the power bomb, So I was like, I'll wait for it to turn around before shooting at it.
Yeah, I think we're going to end up seeing some individualized tech for this particular randomizer because there are situations that happen that don't, you know, like that situation in Waterway does not happen in any other area of the game. So I'm sure people will come up with some ways to get around those. But that was pretty cool to see you guys use some of the new tech and some of the new abilities. What do you guys think about hell runs with only gravity? Zeb, you mentioned you considered doing it if you had like another movement item. If you had found, you know, I don't know, high jump boots down there or something, do you think you would have gone for it?
Definitely planning to go for it if I found anything down there. Even just finding plasma, if I had found another E-tank, I was really considering it anyway. So
Yeah, plasma's real strong down there too. Well, we still have a bunch of people running here. Let's see. I think we've got like five or
Yeah, we
six more
have
people.
quite a few
run-
people still running. So, yeah, it's a little unfortunate that we didn't. I would have liked to have asked Azure about the those hell runs because he really did a nice job on them. Just that one unfortunate mistake trying to damage himself down on the second run through Mother Brain. Yeah, weird to have 3 people die there and forfeit. So maybe it was the restream curse that somehow Rasu managed to avoid.
Yeah, I gotta ask Rossu, man. I mean, you're just like the Dash champion, man. You've taken down Zost. You're undefeated. You just
I
beat,
mean,
you know,
these are
10 other
not
players.
Yeah, these are not lightweights that you've defeated here.
I feel like I got lucky though. I mean, I don't know if that's the thing though, because what I'm hearing here is that some of these runners died to MB while setting up stand-up glitch.
Actually, all 3 of the runners died to Mother Brain in different ways. Zeb died, I think, trying to set up a stand-up glitch. Azder, all right, here's the thing y'all really need to go back. If you go back and watch any of this
You
race,
gotta watch this.
Azder apparently planned in advance and practiced this because the special beam attacks still do full damage, you know, even if with start or charge beam. And he was using Spazer special beam attacks on Mother Brain.
Oh,
But he actually took too much damage because he did not have Varia. He never found Varia. And so he dipped below his 600 health that he needed or whatever and took a death. And
Yep.
then I think Toasty had a similar situation with stand-up maybe.
Yeah, and in Azure's case, he actually reset the first time because he had to save the ship having to refill because he wanted to have as much ammo as possible. Second time, the second one was weird because it looked like he had damaged himself the right amount based on his reserve tanks, and then he took one more. He went and it looked like he purposely took one more hit, which was I don't know if that was or not, but just it was that moment. There where he took that extra hit, and then at that point he couldn't survive the rainbow beam.
yeah, I'm feeling toasty right now because I also had around 109 health. I swear that I was careful touching Mother Brain, but my reserve pop, like I thought I double hit or something. So I was like, oh, maybe.
Yeah.
The exact same thing happened to me. So
yeah, your reserve did pop. That was kind of weird.
Yeah, and I was hoping that, you know, I wouldn't get multiple hits while my reserve was going up, and fortunately I had enough. I had 200 health from 2 reserve tanks, and I ran into Mother Brain once again after that, and then I was in health range. It felt really scary for some reason.
Yeah.
But
300 in my reserves, and I ended up dying after I got popped my reserves off of like I think 3 hits. So
Possibly the most ironic seed of all time featuring reserves. There were 3 reserves early, and then people still picked up at least 2, and then it wasn't enough to save Mother Brain. It was nuts. And the 4th one was behind Ridley, which actually affected Azure a little bit. So yeah, just a wild experience this whole seed line.
Yeah, I did like the gravity heat protection. It saved me in Bubble Mountain. So what I usually like to do there, if I have low health in Bubble Mountain, is I would save and then just reset at either speed, wave, or reserve, depending on what's there. And then gravity was at speed, so I was like, hey, I remember that it does protect you from heat a little bit, so I decided to give it a shot, and it turned out really nice. But yeah, really cool new features. I really wanted to do the bomb wreck ship, but it was just an E-tank. So
Yeah, that was a shame. We were hoping it would be something good there, but
yeah, so yeah, all in all, it's pretty fun.
Glad you guys enjoyed it, and obviously I'm going to put the public pressure on you real quick, but I would like to announce, I haven't given the official announcement yet. I plan to do that in the next maybe 2 or 3 days when I get a little break here for Thanksgiving, but here in about maybe 3 weeks, I think we're going to have our first set of qualifiers. I'm planning a Dash Randomizer one-day tournament that will happen on a Saturday in January. So it'll start in the morning and it'll last until we get to our final champion. It will have cash prizes and it will be featured on Speed Gaming. And we're going to have 4 qualifiers where the top 4 runners from each qualifier make it into the 16-player field. So, so I will be releasing the official information on that here in just a couple days. And we want as many people to enter as possible and just have a good time. So I'm looking forward to seeing more people do it. Rossu and Zeb, I hope you guys participate because I love watching you guys play. And yeah, it's been fun. So you guys have anything else you'd like to close with?
Not really. Thanks for having me. Thanks to Speed Gaming, Kip, and the Dash, Rando, and Tracy for commentating.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Excellent. Well, I really appreciate it. I once again, now that some of them can hear me, I mentioned it on the race earlier. I legitimately appreciate all of you guys coming out and running tonight, and just it just makes it makes me feel good that people have interest in it and that they're supporting the idea and they're at least checking it out. So thank y'all so much for participating. Thank you to everybody in the chat, and Cheaty Face for restreaming, or excuse me, for tracking.
For tracking.
That's right. As well as
Clifford coming in to restream for us, and Speed Gaming in general.
So Tracy, I'll let you close us out, and we'll see y'all next time.
Yeah, so just gonna shout out a couple things with the Randomizer League coming to an end. We do have a few more matches coming up in the next few days, just to finish up the season. With we actually will have a 9 o'clock match between Stump and Cheese Reaver on our channel, and we have 3 matches scheduled for tomorrow at 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and 11 o'clock. So do tune into the Randomizer League channel for that. And I know right now Speed Gaming has got the SNES Superstars going on, so a lot of good stuff going on there. I do believe there's a link to the past qualifier for their tournament coming up in about an hour, I want to say. So definitely tune into all of those things. A lot of really cool stuff coming on our channel and on the Speed Gaming channels. And just glad we can get a little piece of that, getting our stuff on their channel. And like I said, we got playoffs coming up. So looking real forward to seeing those playoffs. Seeing, in fact, 3 of these. Well, Rossu still has 1 more match to play, but he's got a pretty good shot at being in the playoffs right away. Zeb and Azder already having clinched their spots, so 3 of these runners we're likely to see in the playoffs, and hopefully having a good run in the playoffs. But yeah, so that'll be it for us. And of course, thanks to Cheaty for doing the tracking and to Clifford for doing the restream. But yeah, so that'll be it for us. And thanks all for the people that came out and ran this. Real good turnout tonight. So real happy that worked out well. And of course, thank you for Kip for getting this all going in the first place. And of course, he had to. Normally, I thank my co-commentator, but I kind of said that if we're gonna do this, he had to. So. So yeah, and we'll close it off with, as always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, wherever you may be.